Alright, so a movie that started with Ben Stiller and then halfway through Vince Vaughn just kind of takes over. Not really my hot pick. The Watch. It was a cheap Tuesday, so yep, I went to The Watch. Now this is a comedy, so the first thing you're gonna ask me, is it funny? And I'll get to that. I guess I gotta get the story out first. So the story is, because of this murder in the town, in Ben Stiller's Costco, which Costco is a main focus in this movie, because, I mean, they have everything under one roof. I mean, you can get everything in Costco. Anything from your electronic equipment all the way up to groceries and other items. There was a murder in his Costco, and he decides to form this neighborhood watch. It's a town in Ohio, and no one really cares about, but they're really friendly folk. There's 4 of them of this whole entire town that decide to make this group. Obviously, this is your main cast. They actually discover that aliens run amongst us. Normally, that might lead in saying it's a spoiler, but it's not, because in the trailers and everything else that's being sold on this movie is sci-fi. This is alien-based. But I think the movie kind of forgot that, because maybe halfway until your cast realize that there's aliens here. But they do try and cover this up by masking that the aliens can run amongst us, and then they have to do this like weird mind game and try to figure out who's who. Now, to touch on story, the whole backdrop and characters and everything, this is usually important in a movie, but in this movie it kind of seems like it's just sporadic and doesn't really tie into much. And when you think it's going to tie into something, it's very evident of what it's doing, so you kind of figure out what's going to go on before it actually happens. I think that's why, like I said at the beginning, Ben Stiller kind of drops halfway through and he realizes, I don't really have a movie here. And then Vince Vaughn just takes over and says, look at me, ha. Now, of our Fantastic Four, I'll go off on them. Ben Stiller, who just, I don't know, he just does his Ben Stiller role. That's coming from me. I'm not a big Ben Stiller fan. I love Night at the Museum 2, not 1, and I don't think I liked him much of anything else he's ever done, being honest. So, I'm maybe not the best person to critique that. For Vince Vaughn, to be fair, some things I like that he does I like. Some things that he does I really dislike. And in this one, he has hit or miss kind of comedy come in here, and then he kind of loses it on me on this other side. Now, Jonah Hill is the one that I went in this movie for because I loved him in 21 Jump Street. And yes, he does give me a good performance, but he plays a completely different character than I've ever expected him to play in this movie as the bully gangster kind of drop over from high school type kid. I did not see that for Jonah Hill whatsoever. But he does a good job, and I actually found it really funny in everything he does. And how everyone interacts with Jonah Hill kind of makes it funny, because I think it's Jonah Hill making it funny for us. The other one that I do not know his name, the British dude that comes into this, he plays new to the town type character. He's obviously he's from London, and they don't hide that here. That's where they're saying he's from, so it works out perfectly. He's introduced as the last character to join. Everything he did I found funny, but sometimes was kind of over the top funny. So if you like that kind of comedy, he's definitely the one that's going to be bringing that to you. Now, touched on comedy a bit there, so let's just follow through with it. Did I find it funny? Yes, at times. I will say, though, that I found a good portion of it to be kind of almost childish humor. It has to do with how they defeat the aliens, and that I found very childish, but that's fine. They wrap it up at one point with a nice comedic twist. As I'm not a big Ben Stiller fan, this movie did not sway me one way or the other to be a Ben Stiller fan. So I leave that with everyone else. I'd like to hear what everyone else has to say about Ben Stiller, whether or not they like the movies he's done, if they haven't, and let me know which ones you like, which ones you dislike. Because really, I'm still trying to be on the fence here with Ben Stiller, because I absolutely love Night at the Museum 2. Rating time, I don't think Tack will go to it, especially after my recommendation. 1 out of 5 Trojans. Eventually I'll get some popcorn here. On to the next review.